It's showtime.
I just keep on having all these strange thoughts.
Imagine the most isolated place on Earth. Now go 1,000 miles further south of there. You're at Outpost 31, a remote American research station party house buried in the endless frozen wasteland of Antarctica, where the fun times for you and the rest of your research team comrades is out of this world. We're talking the latest and greatest in gaming technology, weekly table tennis tournaments, those limited edition Elon Musk flamethrowers, and an endless stockpile of glorious aged whiskey. To make matters better, you guys just rescued an adorable sled dog you all call Balto, and everybody knows animal rescue is the most lucrative karma venture one can embark on. Get it? So things are only going up from here, that's for sure. I bet it's here in your Graceland you feel understood, heard, and above all else, as safe and secure as can be. You probably thank God every day you said yes to this off-the-grid sanctuary of peace and prosperity. You do? Well, I wouldn't be so quick to. And today on Strange Thoughts, I'm gonna tell you bye, because hell froze over in the Norwegian pond next door and the devil's trekking over to say hello. But before I get into why you won't be MacReady for what's coming, subscribe and turn your post notifications on. And do it now, or our paranoid friends might start to think you're not you anymore.
Oh, wow.
Things around these parts are pretty tranquil and easygoing. If there was one thing to complain about though, it's your Norwegian neighbors down the slope. Always day drinking and causing a ruckus. They're angry drunks too, who forget when they're wasted that not everybody is Norwegian like they are. On this particular morning, they're chasing a sled dog on a helicopter, shooting at it and trying to blow it up, aka Tuesday. They're really wasted today though, at 9:43 in the morning. Not judging, one of them manages to accidentally blow themselves up along with their helicopter at 9:43 in the morning. You realize this involves a dog and handle the situation the American way. Reason number 1, you unwittingly rescue the biggest threat ever. This isn't about being stupid or naive. This is about your own humanity being used as a weapon against you. You see an animal in distress and your universal human instinct is to protect it. But this dog that you saved from catching a bullet isn't a dog at all. It's not even from this planet, and it's more powerful and ruthless than you could ever imagine. You don't just save it though, you invite it inside. But how are you supposed to know what's really going on here? All you see is crazed men on your terrain, armed and reckless. What you don't realize is your inciting incident is another's final scene in the third act. There's more to this wild situation than two dog hunting, but it's not your fault you don't look closer, cause one of your men is accidentally shot in the leg. Any chance at better understanding what's going on goes out the window when that happens, and here you are, screwed. With the immediate problem handled, questions start to rise. To find answers, helicopter pilot RJ MacReady and Dr. Copper fly to the Norwegian base. When they arrive and see what's happened, they're thinking exactly what we are. Must have been some party. The place looks more like a Halloween Horror Nights scare house than it does a research facility. It's a burned down tomb of bodies, not just inside, but also strewn about outside as well. They also find a really cool ice bath that looks super expensive. When they arrive back with a souvenir, Balto does not seem pleased. It's the dead body of someone who appears to have been a victim of the same brutal circumstances Tim and Millie endured in our Why You Wouldn't Survive Together video. Blair is told to immediately start an autopsy on this thing, and the Norwegian they killed as well. While he gets going on that, everyone else settles in for the evening, and Balto is introduced to the other sled dogs they've previously rescued from drunk Norwegians. The autopsy on the Norwegian weirdo? Totally normal. The melted two-faced human corpse? Aside from being a melted two-faced human corpse, its organs check out just fine too. You know, gang, I think this was simply a case of partying too hard and... What in the actual You guys all bunch up, armed but not remotely ready for what's on the other side of that cage door. You open it and come face to face with the polar opposite of a dream come true. It's hard to tell which is scarier, the way it looks or the ungodly sound it makes. it begins absorbing the other dogs with its gross, oozing tentacles. MacReady tries to shoot it, but his hands are shaking so bad he accidentally mercy kills one of the real dogs instead. Clark, the biggest dog lover on the planet, sees red and lunges at MacReady as if a mercy kill gunshot is worse than the fate they'd face at the tentacles of the Thing. The Thing starts to deform into something else as it rises towards the cage ceiling. And before things get too far, you guys light it up with the not a flamethrower. Another day, another grotesque dead thing to examine. This is what Blair does professionally, and even he can hardly handle these tasks being thrown his way. Reason number 2, the Thing's ability to mimic other life forms perfectly. Blair's findings from the autopsy are a game changer. This Thing is a cellular organism that can perfectly imitate any life form it absorbs. We're not just talking dogs. This Thing could undetectably disguise itself as any one of you. That's a problem you can't even begin to grasp until you see it happen. There is no word in the English or Norwegian language for the kind of soul-crushing paranoia that is about to descend on your entire team. And when you have to couple that with trying to fight this thing, yeah, right. While Blair takes a blood sample from the sled dog that escaped last night's nightmare, he can't help notice Clark's pale unease.
What the hell are you looking at me like that for?
I don't know, it's probably nothing.
Later on, you guys start to invasively sift through the home movies you also jacked from the now defunct Norwegian base, but there's 9 hours of tape and your attention spans are fried 8 minutes in. Just as you give up hope for anything juicy, the tape cuts to a clip of the Norwegians surrounding something massive that is buried under the ice below them. And then you watch them plant and detonate thermite charges in an effort to thaw it out. After pinpointing the exact coordinates, MacReady, Norris, and Palmer set off to see what they found. Reason number 3, the Norwegians didn't mind their own business. It turns out that massive frozen thing they thawed out was a massive spacecraft. MacReady and Norris rappel down to take a closer look. Norris points out the damn thing was frozen for roughly 100,000 years before the Norwegians poked the proverbial polar bear. It's just another case of someone else's actions handing off to you and everyone else the consequences. One of the countless brilliant things that sets this film apart and makes it definitively not survivable is that it doesn't really follow the horror film trope of stupid choices leading to horrible situations that should have and could have been avoided. The Norwegians weren't sticking their nose somewhere they shouldn't. No science research team is going to discover a frozen spacecraft and not take the steps necessary to try and, well, research it. That's not all these guys find here, though. There's a rectangular thawed patch as well that, when measured, would match up perfectly with that ice block they found at the Norwegian base. That evening, y'all tend to some whiskey and discuss what you've pieced together. Ship crashes, Norwegians investigate, an alien thing must have crawled out of the ship just to get frozen in a block of ice they return with, then free from its ice slumber, it kills everyone, takes the form of Balto, you dummies welcome it inside with open arms, and here we are. Childs doesn't believe this crap whatsoever, while Blair not only believes it, but is very silently alarmed. He logs in a chat UAP and asks, based off the findings he's attached, what the probability is that someone at this research facility is infected. The results show 75% probability, and Blair shits his pants. Leave a like and subscribe if you hate it when that happens. Blair then asks the server what would likely happen if the thing were to reach civilized areas. The entire world would likely be infected within 27,000 hours from first contact. During some creature body disposal cleanup and much needed spring cleaning, Fuchs asks MacReady to speak privately about some tea pertaining to Blair. What poor Windows and Bennings don't realize is, the thing still has some fight left in him. While meeting in private, Fuchs tells Mac Blair's being a real Debbie Downer. Dude won't talk to anyone, he's locked himself in his room, he doesn't want to party at all. MacReady could give a until Fuchs says he snooped through Blair's notes and discovered Blair has concluded the thing's cells are still alive, waiting to absorb strike the moment it finds itself alone with potential prey in the dark. Meanwhile, Windows leaves Bennings alone with the thing in the dark. He returns, and we learn Blair was right on the money, cause a sunburned in Antarctica Bennings is being absorbed. In the super short time, Windows sprints outside to tell MacReady and Fuchs they return to the room to find no sight of Bennings. And then they notice the broken window. On top of perfect imitation abilities, the thing clearly also has the ability to get dressed incredibly fast. As they loudly hurry after Knot Bennings, the rest of you head outside too to see what all the commotion's about. Once again, and certainly unfortunately not for the last time, what you guys witness is total nightmare fuel. MacReady says "F this" and takes Bennings down in the most metal way imaginable. All of you really try to see to it this time that the thing doesn't have a single cell in it hanging on. Before hitting the hay, MacReady has one of those funny feeling moments, and when he checks inside one of the helicopters, it's clear something is very, very wrong. Reason number 4, Blair saves the rest of the world by dooming you guys. MacReady hurries inside to confront the old dirty bastard and finds, from his perspective, a man who's totally lost his mind. Blair's offed the remaining Baltos, he's destroyed all communications equipment and dismantled every last transport vehicle, trapping you guys here with zero chance of rescue. While that may seem crazy, the knucklehead's actually, logically, doing what he can to hopefully stop a worldwide outbreak. Like you give a shit though, he signed your death warrant. After you're all able to finally subdue Blair Bitch Project here, you all agree the man's earned himself a very well-deserved timeout. The rest of you are understandably already super paranoid that at least one of you might not be who you claim to be.
How do we know who's human? If I was an imitation, a perfect imitation, how would you know if it was really me?
Copper suggests taking a sample of each person's blood, then mixing it with uncontaminated blood to see if there's a reaction, which would mean that person's not human. This works out exceptionally because you guys randomly keep packs of clean blood in storage. When you get back inside though, it seems something was one step ahead of you. Reason number 5, one of you is not who you say you are.
Somebody got to the blood! What?
It's impossible to conclude anything else considering the cabinet wasn't broken into. Someone unlocked it, went to town, and then locked it back up. This isn't just a reason why because someone here is the thing. The only thing anyone who isn't can know for certain is that they aren't, which means someone is. But how the hell can you know who the hell that someone happens to be? When trust is an impossibility, so is teamwork. And the next stage of paranoia in a situation like this is impulse violent guesswork. Amidst all the finger pointing, Windows slowly backs up to leave. When you realize he's gone, you all chase after him and stop him as he's breaking glass for a weapon. But does that mean he's the thing, or is he simply terrified knowing he has no clue who is? Your commander, Gary, realizes the unease towards him and places his gun down, suggesting someone else take charge. At first, no one feels up to the task, but when Childs volunteers, it's seen as a paranoid potential sign he's quite possibly the thing. The thing paranoia or sci-fi horror racism? You be the judge. You torch the tampered blood packs outside to be safe. MacReady tells the group he knows he isn't the thing, and since they aren't all attacking him at once, he can conclude he's not the only one still himself. That being said, there's a storm hitting you guys in 6 hours. Bundled together inside for it would pit you fools right where it wants you. So you gotta figure this bullshit out before it's too late. He tells Doc, Clark, and Gary to move right, away from the rest of you. Clark obliges in a super sketchy way, which is right on brand for him. So maybe he isn't the thing. When Fuchs is tasked with figuring out a new test, he says he needs Doc's help, which Copper immediately uses as a launchpad to protest being shot up with morphine and tied up. Very, very interesting, Doc.
Mac, I'm not a prisoner!
Once inside, Copper highly recommends that he inject the morphine in his arm himself. So, you know, the needle doesn't break. Childs tells him to shut the f*** up. As Fuchs, despite his total lack of self-confidence, hammers away at devising a new test plan, the power very lazily shuts down. He, of course, does what no one should in a situation like this given what's going on and investigates the cause. A jump scare suggests this isn't going to end well for him at all. While taking a look around outside, he comes across MacReady's jacket with apparent torn slash marks across the back center area. Speak of the suspect at hand, MacReady tries organizing a search for Fuchs, but getting pairs willing to search the interior together turns out to be another paranoid nope fest. When they finally work it out and head outside, they very quickly discover Fuchs's charred remains. Did the thing burn him alive? Did he try to light a flare super scared and set himself ablaze? Did he unalive himself while being absorbed before it could fully take him over? Does it really f***ing matter? No offense, Fuchs. Just saying. MacReady tells Windows to go inside and tell the others they found Fuchs while he and Knowles head up to his shack. Seems when he left it yesterday, he definitely turned the light off. Again. Does that really matter? After being gone for over 40 minutes, paranoia starts to kick in that something isn't right. That's when Knowles returns, freezing and terrified. He cut MacReady loose from the tow line and ran for his life back to the station after finding MacReady's torn shirt. And just like that, the self-appointed, well-received new commander in charge is no longer trusted by the vast majority. And when he arrives back and tries to come inside, they can't bring themselves to let him in. So he breaks in, with dynamite in one hand and a lit flare in the other, promising to blow them all up if they try anything funny. It's more than Norris's body can handle at this point, and the poor dude has a massive heart attack. They do everything they can to bring him back, but Norris, obviously absorbed by the thing, reveals a sharp-toothed stomach mouth that rips Copper's hands clear off. It's a scene that will stay burnt in my mind till the day I die, and honestly, it isn't only the shocking, unexpected sight and action of this moment, it's also reason number 6. The thing's advantages over us are boundless. It can reconfigure itself for shock chop offense, spawn alternate new things, adapt defensively as well, and worst and most terrifying of all, finishing off the absorbed whoever doesn't mean finishing off the thing, because there will always be more where that came from. It's like it's the one species that exists to not ever die. MacReady orders Windows and Palmer to tie everybody up because they're going to run a test to see who else may have a thing hiding somewhere inside them. After some slight protest, it seems everyone is down to comply until Clark, with a shiv, lunges forward and gets popped in the forehead. Rest in peace, dude. Fingers crossed, all dogs go to heaven. Seeing Norris generate new parts of itself gave MacReady the idea that maybe every part of it is a whole. So they'll each draw blood, then zap that blood with a heated wire to see how it reacts.
When a man bleeds, it's just tissue. The blood from one of you things won't obey when it's attacked. It'll try and survive.
Right, a man bruised on the inside.
This entire moment is a masterclass in slow burn tension. Windows is up first, and one thing worth a mention is these goof troops look at what's going on more like an infection than absorbed imitation. When Windows' blood is clean, he breathes a sigh of relief, like, thank God, I don't have it. MacReady then shows the others he's clean and moves on to the tied up corpses Clark and Copper. Both check out, which serves to prove Clark was actually just crazy.
Crock of shit.
Either this test is crap squared or we're on a roll, gang. 4 for 4 thus far, Palmer's next, and uh-oh. Reason number 7, grade A plan, F for fail, subject placement. So Palmer's the thing too, which proves this form of determination effective, but with everybody tied up next to each other in such close proximity, the reality here would without question see each incapacitated real boy here thrashed and decimated without any ability to do something about it. It's got ample time to tear these dudes apart too, seeing how MacReady's flamethrower is giving him some technical malfunction problems. Windows steps up to the attack plate but chokes from the fear in the moment, and the thing, Venus flytraps him in typical brutal thing fashion. MacReady finally updates the flamethrower's firmware and sets this thing on fire, then follows it outside where he blows it to bits. He takes a second to bask in how cool he is, and then returns to find Windows mid-thing transformation and nips that in the bud pronto. Okay, back to business. Knowles and Childs are clean, but Gary was saved for last intentionally because he was the only one with direct access to the ruined blood packs.
Somebody got to the blood. What?
Be that as it may, Gary is not, in fact, the thing.
I know you gentlemen have been through a lot. But when you find the time, I'd rather not spend the rest of this winter tied to this couch!
Fair enough, Gare, fair enough. There's no time to celebrate just yet, as there is one more person to test. Blair. MacReady tells Childs to hang back so that if Blair tries to return without the rest of them, burn his ass to ash. Yeah, Houston, we have a problem. The door to the timeout chamber is wide open. This isn't good. They enter to find the place empty, and a closer look reveals that a clearly turned Blair has been, for however long now, digging a tunnel underneath the floor. I bet you feel guilty for recommending he watch Shawshank Redemption last week, huh? You guys investigate, because of course you do, and what you discover is shocking. Looks like Turned Blair's been retooling the dismantled parts he broke during his hissy fit outburst in an effort to build a new spacecraft.
Blair's been busy out here all by himself.
When you guys climb up out of there, Knowles notices Childs for some reason leaving his post. And then the power goes out everywhere. It's the one time that happens where you pray to God you forgot to pay the bill. First things first, you bomb Blair Thing's DIY spaceship. Realizing how absolutely your survival odds are, you guys decide to blow the base up along with, presumably, the final thing. You go down in the basement to set up more TNT booby traps.
Booby traps!
That's what I said! More TNT booby traps! Brilliantly, instead of sticking together, you guys split up. While Gary does his thing, Blair Thing shows up to pay him a visit. I bet being tied to the couch seems a lot more promising now, doesn't it, Gare? In what's one of the more underrated eerie moments here, Knowles ventures forward after setting down his explosives and with a look of excitement almost, picks up speed and is never seen again. It's around this time your boss moss man in charge learns the ever-lingering reason number 8. Splitting up doesn't save time, it costs lives. MacReady steps forward, a little less excited than Knowles, I gotta say, and finds himself attacked in the most hostile thing manner yet. He falls backwards in shock and can only watch as the thing snatches the detonator before MacReady had time to launch the grand finale. And then it rises from hell, more gruesome and terrifying than ever. Past forms blossom out from this final boss body as if to preclude your conviction you can get out of here in 1 piece, 2 pieces, 3, hell, 4. You're 3 ways to Sunday, and that's not even a real phrase. That's how you are. Reason number 9, you get no stick of plot armor, pal. Before this mole demon thing underground wrecks MacReady, he lights what turns out to be the slowest moving fuse stick of dynamite ever, then gymnastics away from the thing and blows it up, because the fuse magically picks up the pace and rhythm with MacReady's heartbeat begging it to. And it also seems to be the most powerful stick of dynamite yet. That, or it triggers the detonator into activating. But regardless, MacReady, or you, are in the basement. There is no way you're stumbling out of the ashes here at all. And while we're on the plot armor movie magic reason, you guys aren't a combat unit. You're a research team, there to study meteorology, biology, geology, communications, and logistics. Having some, not a lot, but some dynamite might, I guess, maybe make sense. A stockpile of military-grade flamethrowers, your main weapon throughout this impossible battle for survival against the thing, though? Yeah, not so much, gang. With no base with central heating left, MacReady takes what's obviously his final rest before he freezes to death when out of nowhere, Childs emerges. He says he thought he saw Blair and went after him, then got lost in the brutal weather. With their breath like a dust storm visible with each word, the two talk about the fire not lasting long in conditions like this. They talk about it not being worth discussing which one of them might be the thing, cause they're both too weak to make a move, and even if whoever the thing may be here was, it doesn't really matter at this point. Reason number 10. Even if you beat the thing, you'd never beat the cold. Realistically, you'd be lucky to stay conscious for 30 to 60 minutes, and alive for maybe 2 hours. If it's any consolation, your demise happens to take place in one of the greatest movie endings of all time. So get as comfortable as you can, have yourself a drink, and accept with a smile why you wouldn't survive the thing.
Somebody got to the blood.
What?
Sorry you and your friends are dead, game over, but thank you so much for watching, and if you want more of my strange thoughts, subscribe and turn those post notifications on, because there's plenty more to come. Till next time, hasta la vista, baby.